Welcome to our latest Influencers in Hospitality interview, a video Q&A where we ask the influential leaders in our industry to share the strategies and insights that have made them so successful.
Dr. Maria, great to see you. How are you?
Very good. Good to see you, Roger.
Well, great to see you too, and thank you for taking time out for Influencers in Hospitality. Now, I think it's really fair to state that you have been a pioneer and were the pioneer in introducing preventive medicine and holistic care to Dubai. Would you believe almost 2 decades ago, when you were the managing director and medical director of Dubai Herbal and Treatment Center, which was under the advocacy of His Highness General Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Now, fast forward 2023, you have your own preventive medicine destination with Maison Santé in Dubai, which is become a big success in Dubai. And I really do congratulate you on that, because I remember, you were sharing with me the development, the planning, and then the construction and the opening. Now, based upon all of your experience in this area of longevity and preventive medicine, what do you think society should stop or start doing to improve their health and longevity?
Well, I think it sounds, very basic, but healthcare should be really healthcare. Right now, it is sick care. Everyone goes to the doctor when they're sick, when they're having symptoms, sometimes when it's almost too late. So I would believe that if everyone would have the regular checkups, would go to the doctor and say, okay, I'm feeling great. How can I continue to feel this way? And, I'm getting older. I mean, that's nature. So what do I need to do more or extra to keep feeling great the way I'm feeling right now? So we have to go there. And this is a little bit of a political thing as well, because right now insurances, everyone is just based on the principle. If it's preventive, will not reimburse. If it's prevention, you don't need to go to the doctor. You go to the doctor when you're sick. So I think this is like the most important part of it.
I love that. Seek assistance and support when you're feeling great, not
Yes.
when you're sick.
Yes, because you want to continue that way. Why you would want that to change at any point?
That's great. I love that. And it's fascinating, because I don't think there has been any time in history when health and well-being has been such a focal point in society. There's more science and technological resources at our disposal for helping us get healthier and prevent illness. And also we have so many experts with YouTube channels educating us on TikTok, preventing us, educating us, I should say, on longevity and biohacking and turning back the provisional or the proverbial age clock, shall we say. And with all this information at our disposal, how do you see the changes in demand from the consumer regarding health prevention related services? What are you seeing, consumers coming to you for? What is it that they want? What is it that they want to achieve?
Well, first of all, they want health, well-being, longevity, but they are tired of you come, everyone with the same symptom gets the same treatment. They want personalized medicine. And, your different environment, your different genetics, where you're at now, your job, all that influences not only the symptoms that you're having, also how you will heal, how you will get better. So people really want personalized medicine at the same time that they're looking more and more, to maintain their health and well-being. And technology and also testing is very, very advanced and very, very important. But sometimes we forget to go back to the basics and what we need. So I mean, the best supplement in the world cannot replace the sleep. If you're getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep, I mean, there's no biohacking of this world that will make you feel better. So very often it's also, start with the basics and then work your way up, depending where somebody is, starting your journey with you.
But what are those basics? It seems, with all this information that is out there in the, World Wide Web and social media, where do you start?
Well, I always start with the sleep. If you don't sleep enough, you don't repair, your hormones are a mess, your cortisol levels go up, you get inflammation, you get sick. So basic is always sleep. And everyone tells me, I mean, mostly this manager type of successful, mostly males, no, I can't sleep more, I have to work, I have to do. If you don't prioritize sleep, and that should be a priority, there's only so much that you can do with the best healthcare treatments and supplements. You can compensate for a while and for a bit, but without enough sleep, no. That's like the most basic thing. And then, of course, then it continues with what you eat and, exercise, movement, but sleep is the basic necessity priority.
And with sleep being the, core and essential as a fundamental to health, and we have this wave of new well-being destinations and resorts that are focused specifically on well-being. Maybe going to be somewhat controversial here, but how much influence can they have on longevity and turning back the clock, so to speak, during a 7-day, 10-day stay? With all the resources at their disposal, can we do enough to kickstart the system during that a 7-day, 10-day stay?
You just said it. It's very important for a kickstart. And sometimes you have to get people out of their usual environment, out of the surroundings and things that are stressing them and, demanding their attention. You put them somewhere else and you really reset them. And 7 to 10 days can definitely be enough for that. And during that time, they can get also a maximum of support. You have all the experts there on hand. You can do all the testing. So time-wise and expert-wise and learning and resetting, that's the goal of that 10 days. That will never be enough for the rest of the year, and it's not going to solve your problems. But it's an excellent way to kickstart everything. I believe in that. It's much more difficult to do that while you're in your usual environment.
Mm-hmm. And can you program within that 7 to 10 days how one would return to normality? Because if you're isolating, you're putting somebody into complete isolation away from the day-to-day distractions and the stresses and strains. Yeah, surely that's the easy part, because when you take somebody into a new environment, you've eliminated all of those stresses and strains and distractions. So how do you prepare them for life after?
Well, that's the important part that needs to happen there with the coaching, with the nutritionist that tells you where to shop, what to shop, how to cook, how maybe to order the healthy options that are for you. So based on what you will find back home, all the coaching and addressing needs to happen in that time. So you need to be prepared to go back. So you reset and you get all the knowledge on hand and a little taste of how you can feel if you continue that when you go back.
I guess that's where Maison Santerre, is the resource for your clients, because you are treating clients day to day in their true environment with all the stresses and strains and distractions.
And still some of our clients also travel, especially now in summer, they go to different resorts. They do a little bit intensified treatment there, then come back and they're very happy to have nearby something that continues that philosophy and that line of work. So that's the support on site, let's say in your natural habitat. That's very important as well. Yeah.
Now, just kind of talking in the wider hospitality industry and health medical industry, where do you believe we can find additional or hidden value that's not visible to us right now?
Well, I mean, let's say if we talk just generally hospitality and hotels and business hotels, if they would take a little bit more care of that clientele as well. I mean, it starts with the options at the breakfast menu. Try and find something gluten-free, dairy-free. You ask 3 times for your decaf soya cappuccino and still they cannot handle it. You know, it's not all the bacon and the, you know, fried beans. And so if you help people to make this decisions there, or have these choices there that they usually also demand at home and they have at home because their lifestyle is like more health conscious. So that would be great. That would be great. And that would be something that, you know, I think would get the clients back.
No, I agree. And, you know, somebody who spends half of my life in hotel, it never ceases to amaze me how wrong many hotels get their breakfast menu. You know, in making it so difficult to, you know, find the healthier options, you know, understand whether or not they're taking care of food intolerances, you know, lactose free, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It is rather limited and still very, very poor, the offerings at this moment in time. And I think they're making these options, they're making the guests feel as if they are different.
Yeah, and difficult. And sometimes it's not an attitude, but like, oh my God, another one having a special request.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't be like that.
Exactly. Now, what is your take and what is your view on longevity versus biohacking versus well-being? Are these just phraseologies?
It's all about the same thing, enhancing well-being and living healthy longer. It's all about the same. Biohacking is just more a buzzword at the moment, and sometimes a bit more focus on very, very specific top technologies, top supplements, which of course are part of the whole journey, but it's not only about that. So it's like a new word for something that, you know, we have been doing all these years already. Just sounds better.
Just sounds better. Yeah. It's almost like we went from beauty to spa, from spa to wellness, from wellness to well-being, from well-being, and now we're into longevity and
running, jogging, you know.
Yeah. Well, from the consumer side, what are you seeing as the most demanded service from what you see from the preventive care? What are consumers coming to you saying, well, I want to have this type of treatment, whether it's an IV drip or whether it's a cryotherapy? Are you seeing anything that where the consumers demanding something?
They're demanding more testing. You know, I want to know what's going on to address it more specifically. I just don't want a random cryotherapy or a random IV drip if I don't need it. But if I have a deficiency A, B, C, I want that to be fixed. If my hormones are out of balance, I want them balanced. But, you know, it's about the knowledge. And if we have the tools with the testing, that's what people want nowadays. They say, okay, I want my mineral and vitamin status. I want to know if I have heavy metals and toxins in my body. And then address the root cause. I think more than specific treatments, at least here the trend is more, I want to know what's going on. I want to address it.
I want to shift now more to your success traits rather than industry specific. And what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
Okay, I always say that with a smile because it was my grandma. My grandma, when I was a little kid, she used to tell me, Maria, you know, knowledge doesn't occupy any space. So try to learn as much as you can and everywhere. And I mean, she was so right. And even now in my industry, you have to keep up the pace. You have to read. You have to know what's new. You have to know trends, new scientific research that's coming out. So I think that was the best piece of advice, to stay curious and, try to learn from everywhere, whatever you can.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Who and what inspires you?
I get inspired by people that are passionate and very good at what they do. And that could be anything. It could be a chef cooking. It could be somebody, playing an instrument very good. Anyone really with a passion that this energy irradiates, that inspires me and say, okay, in my field, I would like to be something similar to that. That's my inspiration, not one person. It's
Yeah, no. I really align to that. I was yesterday watching the tennis final at Wimbledon and seeing
please.
just two.
Being Spanish.
And being Spanish, congratulations.
Yeah.
Carlos Alcaraz winning. I mean, it was just phenomenal just to sit back and watch two athletes at the top of their game, and being very humble as well. So yeah, I felt I could align with that, just seeing two great individuals that are throwing everything at their particular area of speciality, which seems to be tennis, accelerating in many ways. What do you think is true that many people would disagree with?
Well, I believe things are more simple than people try to make them. Not everything is complicated, and it's about, getting to the root of something, and then it's about making a decision. We are our choices. That's very philosophical, but also true. So try to filter it down, make it simple, and then make a choice. I think most people tend to overcomplicate things.
Tell me a little bit about the leadership aspect, particularly when things are, not particularly going well. What are the failures that you've learned the most from?
Well, I think, well, first of all, being very impatient. I had to learn patience the hard way, because no matter how much you push and pull and try, and some things take time, and it's a waste of energy what you do then at that time. And also, you can't control everything. It's about being flexible. There are things you cannot control, and then things go wrong. Sometimes our mistakes, sometimes, unforeseen circumstances, but it's all about the flexibility that you develop after, how to solve the situation. So yeah, not to be too rigid in what you think, and too pushy and impatient. I think that's, at least for me personally, that's been the two things.
What has been the most unusual thing you've had to do to make it work?
I don't think there's anything unusual. No, nothing unusual. Seriously not. I mean, it's always finding somehow a plan B for whatever comes across, but no great story I have to offer there.
Okay, this I'm fascinated with, given that your best piece of advice came from your grandmother. So if the older, wiser Dr. Maria of today could pass on a few wise words to a teenage Dr. Maria at the beginning of her career, what would she say?
Yeah, what I mentioned earlier, be more patient, and people say go with the flow. I mean, maybe not to that extent, but yeah, be more patient, and just watch and see how things develop, rather than trying to pull through and force things. I think that would be, I would have saved a lot of energy and made maybe less mistakes if I would have done that.
Dr. Maria, thank you for your time and joining us.
Thank you so much.
In hospitality. It's truly insightful. I've known you for so while, and I've been very much an admirer of your approach in lifestyle medicine and healthcare and holistic well-being. And so I'm just thankful for the time you've taken today.
Thank you so much for having me here, and it's always a pleasure talking to you, Raja. Thank you.